After studying this module, we shall be able to know the meaning of staffing and its nature, learn the meaning of recruitment, sources of recruitment, and the selection process, identify various objectives of staffing, evaluate the importance of staffing, and analyze recent trends in recruitment.
Management is regarded as a collective exercise including job and answerability for proficient and capable planning and parameters of operating of an enterprise in the course of accomplishment of given objectives. It is having an assorted symphony of variety of elements and conducts which are overlapping and extremely inseparable and are universal to every manager irrespective of his level and grade. The most widely conformist functions are given by Kuntis O'Donnell, that is planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. In this chapter, we will spotlight on the significant functions of management.
Let us first learn what we mean by staffing. According to Coates and O'Donnell, the managerial function of staffing involves manning the organization arrangement through appropriate and valuable selection, appraisal, and the development of personnel to fill the roles designed in the configuration. Let us now learn the nature of staffing. Staffing function is a pervasive and continuous activity required at all levels in the organization. Staffing is a vital managerial function. The action of other managerial functions depends upon the manpower which is reachable through staffing function. Putting the right men on the right job can be done resourcefully through suitable recruitment procedures and then finally selecting the most pertinent candidate as per the job analysis. Human resources can be competently managed by an appropriate procedure, that is recruitment, selection, appointment, training and development, reward, etc. Direction function is carried out by all managers and executives at all levels throughout the working of an enterprise, and a subordinate receives instructions from his superior only.
Staffing is fundamental managerial function. It is the most critical managerial act besides planning, organizing, directing and controlling. The act of these functions depends upon the manpower which is reachable through staffing functions. Staffing is a pervasive action. It is indigenous function and is carried out by all managers in all types of concerns where business activities are carried out. Staffing is continuous activity. Staffing function persists all the way through the life of an organization due to transfer of promotions. Staffing function is competent management of personnel. Human resources can be competently managed by an appropriate procedure, that is recruitment, selection, appointment, training and development, reward, etc. Staffing helps in placing the right men at the right job. It can be done resourcefully through suitable recruitment and selection procedures and then finally selecting the most pertinent candidates as per the job analysis. Staffing is performed by all managers. Staffing function is usually performed by the top management. In small and medium scale enterprises, it is performed predominantly by the human resource department in order to bring impartiality and exactness.
Following are the objectives of the staffing function. Firstly, staffing comprehends the manpower planning so that people are accessible at the right time and right place. Secondly, it aims to correspond employee skills with essential tasks in the most cost-effective ways. Thirdly, it examines the skills and needs of staff members as well as their passions and eccentricities in order to find the most outstanding potential fit. Fourthly, it recognizes the issues related to job analysis and the uses for which it is undertaken. After learning the nature of staffing function, let us now glance at the importance of staffing. The staffing function is strongly related to other managerial areas of business. The competence of other managerial functions depends on the efficiency of the staffing function. Under staffing, an effort is made to identify the people who hold the right combination of skill, ability, viewpoint, and interest. It is concerned with the development of the skills through training and creating continued association with the organization. Staffing ensures the right number of personnel, thus avoiding high labor cost. It ensures abundant and right supply of people. It indicates in advance the scarcity of personnel and ensures better utilization of resources. It improves job gratification and morale of employees through a process in which there is purpose appraisal along with fair reward for their input in work, resulting in elevated morale and efficiency. It helps to construct proper human relationships in the organization. Good relationships are the key to healthier communication and synchronization of managerial efforts in an organization. Staffing function plays a noteworthy role in developing human resource.
Staffing is considered to be the chief function in all the type of organizations due to the following reasons. Key to other managerial function, staffing function is strongly related to other managerial areas of business. Staffing function influences the direction and control the organization to a great extent and degree. The competence of other managerial functions depend on the efficiency of staffing function. Proficient personnel. Staffing focuses on employing a right persons for a right job. Under the staffing effort is made to identify the people who hold the right combination of skill, ability, viewpoint, interest, etc. It is considered with the development of the skills through training and creating continued association with the organization. Best utilization of resources. Staffing ensures right kind of persons, etc. Avoiding high labor cost, it ensures abundant and right supplies of people, thus shun the combination of work by indicating in advance the scarcity of personnel. Improve job satisfaction. It improves job gratification and morale of employees through the process in which there is a purpose appraisal along with fair reward of their input to work, resulting into elevated morale and efficiency. Building healthy human relationships. It helps to construct the proper human relationships in the organization. Well-witty relationships are the key to healthier communications and synchronization of managerial efforts in an organization. Human resource development. Staffing function plays a noteworthy role in developing the human resource development. Capable and knowledgeable staff is considered to be the belongingness of the business. Long-term effect. Staffing decisions have long-term effect on the competence of an organization, and it makes sure the expansion of the organization with exact orientation of people employed in the organization. Potential contribution. Every corporate has escalation and diversified plans to meet these challenges of expansion and development. Staff selection should be based on the propensity of the probable employees to meet the panorama confronts that the organization needs to address.
Let us now go through the elements of staffing. These are recruitment, selection, training and development, and remuneration.
Finding and hiring the right person is enormously critical to the victory or failure of an organization. Recruitment should notify the competent individuals about employment opportunities, create an affirmative image of the company, provide enough information about the jobs so that the applicant can make the judgments with their qualification and interest, and produce the fervors amongst the best candidates so that they will apply for the existing positions.
Let us first discuss recruitment. According to Edwin B. Flippo, recruitment is the process of searching the candidates for employment and stimulating them to apply for jobs in the organization. There can be two sources of recruitment, internal and external. Internal sources include transfers. The existing employees are transferred from one department to another according to their competence and experience. Promotions. The employees are promoted from one department to another with more remuneration and larger responsibilities based on their competence and experience. Upgrading and demotion of current employees according to their performance. Retired and retrenched employees. Retrenched employees may also be recruited again in case of scarcity of qualified personnel or to augment the workload. Dependents and relatives of deceased employees and disabled employees are employed by several companies so that the members of the family are helped and need not go out for work. External sources include press advertisements, going to educational institutes, also known as campus recruitment, placement agencies, employment exchanges, labor contractors, unsolicited applicants, employee referrals or recommendations, and recruitment at factory gate.
Some internal sources of recruitment are transfers. The existing employees are transferred from one department to another according to their competence and experience. 2. Promotion. The employees are promoted from one department to another with more remuneration and larger responsibilities based on the competence and experience. 3. Upgrading and demotion. Upgrading and downgrading of current employees according to their performance. Fourth, retired and retrenched employees. Retrenched employees may also be recruited again in case of scarcity of qualified personnel or augment in the workload. It saves time and cost of the organization as the people are already conscious of the organizational background, policies and procedure. 5. Dependents and relatives. Dependent and relatives of deceased employee and disabled employees are employed by several companies so that the members of the family do not become reliant on the others. External sources of recruitment are press advertisements. Advertisements of vacancy in newspapers and the journals are broadly used methods of recruitment. The main benefits of this method is that it has a wider reach. Educational institutions. Various management institutions, engineering colleges, medical colleges are the best external source of recruiting well qualified executives, engineers, medical staff, etc. This source is called as campus recruitment. Placement agencies. Numerous private consulting firms perform the recruitment functions on behalf of the client and companies by charging a fees. Such agencies are predominantly appropriate former recruitment of employees and specialists. It is also known as the recruiting process outsourcing. Employment exchange. Government sets up the public employment exchanges all over the country. These exchanges offer job information to job seekers and help the employers in spotting the opposite candidates. Labor contractors. Manual workers can be recruited through contractors who keep close contacts with the workers. This source is mainly used to employ the labor for construction jobs. Unsolicited applicants. Many job seekers visit the office of well-known companies directly. Such callers are considered annoyance to the daily work routine of the enterprise, but it helps in developing the database of the probable candidates for the organization. Employee referrals or recommendations. Many organizations have pre-arranged system where the existing employees of the organization can refer their friends and relatives for some position in their organization. In addition, the office bearers of trade unions are regularly sentiment of the aptness of the candidates. Recruitment at factory gate. Amateurist workers may be recruited at the factory gate. Such workers may be employed every time a permanent worker is absent.
Let us now look at the latest trends of recruitment. Outsourcing. Outsourcing is the contracting out of a business process to a third party. Outsourcing sometimes involves transferring employees and assets from one firm to another, but not always. Poaching. Poaching means employing a capable and experienced person already working with another reputed company in the same industry, and that organization might be a rival in the industry. E-recruitment. E-recruitment is the use of technology to aid the recruitment process. Employers publicize job vacancies through a world wide web. The job seekers forward their applications through email using the internet.
Outsourcing. From more than a decade now in India, the human resource processes are being outsourced. A company may be get required the workforce from outsourcing firms. Such firm helps the organization by the early screening of the applications according to the needs of the organizations and creating an opposite pole of talent of the ultimate selection of the organization. Poaching, that is buying talent, is the newest mantra being followed by the organization nowadays. Poaching means employee is capable and experienced person already working in another reputed company in the same industry. The organization might be an opponent in the industry. A company can be a pull talent from another firm by pulling the striking pay packages better than the present employer of the candidates. But it seems as a unscrupulous practices. E-recruitment. Numerous didactic organizations use internet as a source of recruitment. E-recruitment is the use of know-how to aid the recruitment process. Employers publicize the job vacancies through World Wide Web. The job seekers forward their applications through emails using the internet. Instead, the job seekers place their CV in the World Wide Web, which can be withdrawn by the potential employees depending upon the desires.
Let us now move on to another aspect of staffing, that is selection. It is the process by which an organization chooses from a list of applicants the person who best meets the criteria for the position available, taking into account the current market conditions. The process of selection involves a series of steps. These are: the first step involves the application. Applications are the preliminary point of the selection process, providing an accurate information needed for assessing the candidate's aptness. The second step is the preliminary interview. The preliminary interview is often held in case of at the gate candidates. This interview is typically of a short duration and aims at gaining basic information with a view to recognize and weed out incompetent and ineligible candidates. The third step includes the screening of the applications. The fourth step includes employment tests. An employment test is a mechanism designed to assess selected qualities and abilities of a potential incumbent in terms of job specification. It may be of various types like intelligence test, interest test, aptitude test, etc. The fifth step is face to face interview. The interview enables the person responsible for hiring to view the candidate and to assess his behavior directly. Being a two-way communication, it also authorizes the applicant to ask questions about the job and the organization. The sixth step is the reference check. At this stage, employers cross check the information given by the candidates through references given by him or her in the application form. The next step is the actual selection. This is the last stage. If a candidate successfully crosses all the hurdles given above, he would be acknowledged as selected. An appointment letter is given to him stating the terms of employment, pay scale, post on which selected, so that he can formally join the organization. Let us now move on to the next element of staffing, that is training. Training is the practice of enhancing the skills, capabilities, and awareness of employees for doing a particular job. Training process molds the thoughts of employees and leads to efficient performances by them. It is an uninterrupted and ongoing process.
Training improves the morale of employees. Training assists the employees to get the job security and job satisfaction. The more satisfied the employee is, the better is his morale. It makes the process of management require less supervision. A well-trained employee will be well conscious with the job and will not now as much as supervision. Consequently, there will be a less wastage of time and efforts, fewer accidents. Errors are likely to happen if the employees be deficient in knowledge and skills required for doing a particular job. The more trained an employee is, the less is probable of committing the accidents in job and more proficient the employee becomes. The chances of promotion are increased. Employees acquire ability and competence during training. They become more entitled for promotion. They become an asset for the enterprise. It ensures increased productivity. Training develops the competence and the output of employees. Well-trained employees show both magnitude and excellence performance. There is a less wastage of their time, money, resources if employees are appropriately taught.
Let us now look at the various methods of training. Basically, there are two techniques of training: on-the-job training and off-the-job training. On-the-job training includes orientation training, which involves showing new workers how to perform their jobs carefully and competently. Job instruction training, or JIT, consists of 4 steps: preparing the trainees by telling them about the job and surmounting their uncertainties, presenting the instructions, giving indispensable information in a transparent manner, having the trainees try out their job to exhibit their understanding, and placing the workers on the job. Apprentice training. People seeking to enter skilled trades are frequently required to undergo apprenticeship training. Internship and assistantship. An internship can be a method of on-the-job training for white-collar and professional careers. Internships for professional careers are comparable in some ways to apprenticeships for trade and professional jobs. Job rotation. Job rotation involves an employee changing positions within the same organization and ultimately returning to the novel position. The rationale is to give the employee a bit of a break and expectantly swell job satisfaction and motivation. Coaching. Coaching is a training process by which a person is supported whilst achieving a definite personal or professional competence goal. The term coaching may be understood as an unofficial relationship between two individuals where the one who has the greater knowledge and expertise than the other offers counsel and guidance. Off-the-job training methods include lectures or conferences, case study, role-playing, simulation, programmed instruction, and laboratory training.
Lectures or conferences. The conference or lecture approach is well bespoke to convey the detailed information, rules, procedures, or methods. The use of audio-visual or demonstrations can make a formula classroom representation more appealing while increasing withholding and offering a vehicle of impounding more intricate points. Case studies. Cases present an in-depth portrayal of particular problem an employee might come across on the job. The employee endeavor to find and investigate the problem, assess alternating course of action and decide which course of action would be more suitable. Role playing. Role play is a replication in which each applicant is given a role to play. Trainees are given with some information related to explanation of roles, concerns, objectives, responsibilities, emotions, etc. Simulations. Any training activity that is unambiguously placed, the trainee is a simulated environment that closely mirrors the actual working conditions can be considered a simulation. Programmed instruction. This practice can be in form of programmed text or manuals, though in some organizations teaching machines are employed. All program instructions approaches have general characteristics. They compress the material to be learned into extremely organized, logical sequence which necessitate the trainee to act in response. Laboratory training. Laboratory training adds to conformist training by providing the situations and the trainees themselves experience through their own interaction. Laboratory training is more concerned about altering the individual behavior and thoughts. There are two techniques of laboratory: training, simulation, and sensitivity.
Let us now turn to the next element of staffing, that is employment remuneration. Employee remuneration refers to the reward or compensation given to the employees for their work performances. Remuneration provides basic attraction to an employee to perform the job efficiently and effectively. Remuneration leads to employee motivation. The basic types of employee remuneration are time rate method. Under time rate system, remuneration is unswervingly allied with the time spent by an employee on the job. The employees are compensated at a fixed, pre-decided amount, hourly, daily, weekly, or monthly, irrespective of their production. Piece rate method. Under this method, the remuneration is paid on the basis of pieces produced by an employee. In this system, the stress is more on quantity output rather than quality output. Let us now summarize what we have learned in this module. In this module, we have discussed the concept of staffing, its objectives, and the elements of staffing, that is, recruitment, selection, training, and employee remuneration.
Staffing is an exercise by which an organization creates a pool of applicants and makes a selection from that pool of given to right person to a right place at a right time so as to enhance the organizational efficiency. Staffing is a fundamental function performed by all the managers. It is an omnipresent and uninterrupted function that helps in placing the right number of people at right place. Staffing helps in enhanced utilization of resources, improved job satisfaction, human resource development, and builds the healthy human relations. Recruitment is a predetermined process that administers how a position is to be filled. Every organization has the option of choosing the candidates from two sources: internal and external sources. Outsourcing, poaching, and e-recruitment are some of the latest trends in recruitment. Selection is the process by which an organization chooses from a list of applicants the person who best meets the criteria for the present position offered. Selection process involves many steps like application blank, interview, employment test, reference checks, etc. Training is the procedure of enhancing the skills, capabilities, and awareness of employees for doing a particular job. There are numerous techniques of training. Some of them are on the job and some of them are off the job training methods. Employee remuneration refers to the compensation given to the employees for their work performance. There are mainly two types of calculating employee performance: piece rate and time rate.